This is over 50 bottles of whiskey that I got in the month of March. Some of them we bought, some of them showed up in the mail. We got these from all sorts of different sources, some on camera, some not. We're gonna go through them. We're gonna talk about each and every one of these bottles, and we're gonna try about half of them. Let's get into it. Let's start with a bottle that I've really been looking for, but I've been a little frustrated with the price point on it, and this is Woodford Double Oaked. Now, we have a Double Oaked distillery only that I'm a big fan of. Will's a big fan of Double Oaks. He really liked it as well. This is their new regular release, non-distillery release. And the problem is Double Oaked, one of the best Double Oaks on the market, great balance of vanilla and oak, but it's like 60 bucks almost everywhere. And this one is 200. Like, that's exactly what it cost me, is 200. I think the MSRP is 180 something, but in Alabama, a price-controlled state where they sell at MSRP with our high taxes, this was a $200 bottle. Still smells delicious. And it still tastes delicious. A lot of extra oak, but honestly, I can get a very similar experience from some of the more oaky Woodford Double Oak store picks. So for $60, just try a store pick somewhere. A lot of people that do those will sample them. Find one that's a little extra oaky. You get a very similar experience for that $60 price point. So great bottle, just wished it was $100, not $200. I also bought these two Four Roses 100 proof single barrels. I'm a big fan of the Four Roses barrel proof single barrels. I'm also pretty fond of just, some of their small batch select and different products. I bought these thinking they would be really interesting expressions. They're fine whiskey, there's nothing wrong with them. They just weren't special. And that's really what I was hoping they were. I'll just probably stick to the barrel proof versions of these instead of going back and getting more of these. And that brings us to this Bullet Bonded. Just showed up in the mail, just arrived one day here at the house. Love mail whiskey. And honestly, one of the things about this video is being able to try all of these. If you send something, as long as we can keep these videos going, then it makes a video. We're gonna go in hot most of the time, and we're gonna say the truth. So if it's bad, you're taking a little risk, but at least you get a review. I actually really like this Bonded. It's not super high proof, really easy sipper, very caramel forward, a little bit of toffee notes on the finish, actually a lot of toffee notes on the finish, kind of a sweet toffee. Pretty good bottle of whiskey. This is Rye Law, and it's like a single malt rye whiskey, I believe. Now this thing just came in the mail. We passed on it in a hunt apparently, and they sent this bottle over. I'm not gonna try it. It's very single malt forward. I'm starting to get into more single malts, but I just can't get into those with the heavier kind of single malt flavors. I describe it as an iodine. It's a little different for a lot of people. This one has some of it. It was interesting, but I'm gonna have to get a little heavier into the single malts before I'm ready for something like this. These were a couple of bottles my wife really wanted. This is what you get for taking your wives bourbon hunting, is sometimes she just likes the look of a bottle. So we got this St. Liberty right here, this Mary's 4-grain. I love the bottle on this, but just wasn't a huge fan of the whiskey. This is from our friends over at McCormick Distilling. And this is a really, really lightly colored corn whiskey, I believe. 100% straight corn. So this is a young 100% straight corn. It's not fair to judge this as a bourbon or neat. Smells pretty good though. That's not bad. It's not something you want to drink neat though. It's very sweet. Has a lot of kind of fruity flavors. It's funny being a McCormick. I assume this is distilled at the Holiday Distillery because it has a lot of those fruity notes from Ben Holiday. Could definitely use more aging in the barrel, but man, if they ever release an actual like aged 100% corn whiskey at like 6, 7, 8 years old in a new barrel, it's probably going to be exceptional. Not something I'm ever going to go back to. We might make a cocktail or something with it, but much better than I expected it to be. We have obtained a couple of Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye barrel picks. These will be blinded. This one's not a Coy Hill. It came from the Coy Hill Rick House. They tater stickered it all up, but we've got Kenny's Liquors and Liquor Depot here. I think this one I've had longer than this month. So strike this one from the bottle count. I think it just got mixed up with these. I think I've had this one for several months. So we got one of these. We also got the Brewzle Jack Daniel's pick in. This is one of the distiller selects, not the one we went there and selected. We'll blind these eventually, and they'll end up in the, at least the losers will end up in the infinity barrel. If you don't know what that is, you should be watching the live streams. While we're on the note of barrel picks, we had a barrel pick release for the Brewzle Club. These were the barrel picks that we dropped. All of these are pretty much gone. These were the master blender sets. So if you've seen that video, we'll pop up that video here if you want to click over and watch that one. We had 3 patrons to Old Dominic to blend 5 barrels of whiskey. I submitted a blend as well. These were the top 2 blends as judged by our tasting panel. They actually got made, and now we sent this out to the world. There's a QR code. You can go vote, and once all of those bottles have arrived at everybody and they've had a chance to try them, we'll figure out who the actual master blender was. So that turned out really cool. It was a really fun experience. We had our Blanton's. This is actually a really good Blanton's. I don't normally care much for Blanton's store picks just because all Blanton's are single barrels. This one actually was a really nice bottle of Blanton's. Buffalo Trace pick. This Good Times Miami Vice as well. We've had a lot of good times. Really popular with the Brewzle Club. The Kentucky Nectar right here as well, and the 15-year-old George Dickel pick, which Flintstone vitamins to Fruity Pebbles to juicy fruit gum and leaves you with like a Fruity Pebble finish. You gotta be okay with the minerality. It's there on every George Dickel product. But the older these get, the more I'm kind of okay with it. Like I don't love the minerality, I'm okay with it, and then everything that happens after that minerality dissipates, I really like on this product. And of course, honey finished Kentucky Nectar, the second ever single barrel of that on the market. I think most of these have shipped out, but not everybody's gotten their packages yet. So still waiting on feedback on all of these barrel picks, but expecting them to be a big hit. Next, we got a couple of 1924s. I bought one of these in South Florida for below MSRP, and then I went to the Alabama ABC lottery drop and they had them as well, and I picked up another one of those. We're gonna put these in our giveaway. We are doing a game show live stream once a month to where we have somebody come on and have a chance to win a really cool bottle. Now our goal with that, the first one will have happened before you see this video, probably just happened. We're gonna try to widen that out. This first one's a pilot. We're gonna try to widen that out and give more and more people access to try to win cool bottles of whiskey. And both of these, really good whiskey, are gonna go into that. So keeping these, not gonna open these and try it. I have a 1924, it's really good whiskey. And this one is maybe my favorite bottle I've gotten this year. I've hunted for a couple of months for these. Now these are private barrel Elijah Craig's, but they're private barrel cask strength toasted barrels. And so Elijah Craig toasted at cask strength. Picked these up in the Alabama ABC quarterly release, and they're not as good as the samples. Like somebody gave me samples of a single barrel and it was phenomenal, out of this world. These have a little more, kind of harsh, toasty tannins to them. Still really good. Man, that just gets better the more I go back to it. I liked it so much I went ahead and backed it up because I'm gonna be sharing this one with people. I want everybody that can to try these. That sample somebody gave me is probably my favorite available-ish Elijah Craig product. Hey, maybe my favorite product with Elijah Craig on the name. And maybe not my favorite Heaven Hill, but really enjoy these cask strength, store pick toasted barrels. Really need to go back and get one of these for the Brewzle Club as well. I'm gonna see if I can reach out and get one, but if you come across the toasted barrel cask strength and you like those extra oak tannins, you definitely wanna pick one of these up. Next is a 10-year-old Pendleton bourbon. I do believe this was MGP. Got my glasses in. You can just call me Professor Brewzle, and that doesn't help at all. Like this, y'all don't realize how dark it is on the backside of these lights that are pointing at my face here. It does help read, but you still have to have light. This is indeed MGP, distilled in Indiana. But 10-year-old MGP, oh, it smells so good. I really like that bottle. It's easy to get into. This one is 90 proof. I just want a little higher proof point on it. Like 100. 100 would have been beautiful on this. Oh, that's so good though. Next, we've got some rum. Right here is from Cuba, so not legal to import this and sell it into the States. And this is what a liquor store in South Florida recommended for me if I was trying to get into rum. Not a huge fan of this. This has some of those flavors that I associate with pot stilled single malt. Obviously it's not, because some cognacs and different things have those flavors as well, but it's just a harshness to it that my palate doesn't really sit well with. This one, on the other hand, this Havana Club, I thought it was okay first time I tried it. I've gone back to it now a couple of times and it gets better each time I go back to it. Oh man, see, it's just like toasty marshmallow, soft molasses. That's better than the last time I tried it, better than the time before that. It's got a little of the dark, almost scorched sugars on the finish, almost like a garden hose. If you ever just, drank water out of a garden hose, an old rubber hose, you get that water that's been sitting in there for a little while and you just get that kind of rubberiness. That's what I get on the finish. It's just kind of those dark, like scorched sugars. I still like it though. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that note, but other than that, it's absolutely fantastic. Really easy sipper as well. More picks have come in. These are our last two Woodford double oaked picks. And it'll be interesting to see if one of these is the more oaky flavor profile. We had a balanced, we got a little more vanilla, we got a little more oak profile, and it'll be fun to try these against the Woodford double oaked. We're not gonna do that today, but these are gonna be in a future release for the Brewzle Club. Don't know which release. We kind of curate what we're gonna release, but I'm sure these will be in there pretty soon. Oh, and I forgot this one. This is our Woodford 2-barrel blend, the Has Not blend. Same situation. Barrel pick will be in the Brewzle Club. This had 142 proof hazmat Woodford, but they blended it with a non-hazmat and then proofed it down. So we call this the Has Not blend. So freaking close to something really, really special. I think this is good, but it could have been just out of this world good. But again, we'll be in a future drop at some point. I then picked up a couple of tater bottles. One of these, this 24A, I believe it is. 24A, Stag Junior right there. Don't call me Junior. Got that one from South Florida, from Fort Lauderdale area. And then the Weller Foolproof Store Pick sticker right there. That is from the Alabama ABC quarterly release. So I was able to just go stand in line, didn't win, stood in line, got this, got the two Elijah Craig Toasted barrel proofs, got a 1924 and the Woodford double oaked for standing in line for a couple hours. Overall, that was a pretty good haul. I don't think that video has been released yet, but it should be coming out pretty soon. Next, we've got male whiskey. So when y'all reach out and y'all tell us about your favorite distilleries, we try to listen as much as we can. Sometimes we can't follow up on all of them, but a lot of folks have been telling us about Circle City, a non-distilling producer, so they sent us some bottles just to kind of check out what they're doing. I don't know what distillery these bottles are from. They leave clues. I'm not gonna follow them because all that matters to me is it good or is it not? And that's pretty freaking tasty right there. They sent us a bunch of small samples of various other things too. I think some of the samples are a little better than this, although that's good. It's got a little bit of a kind of harshness on the back end of the palate, but honestly, that could have been the rum I was drinking here just a few seconds ago. So we won't judge it too harsh today. I had it on a live stream the other day, really enjoyed it. We're gonna end up doing some barrel picks or something with them at some point in the future, but Circle City has some good barrels. Next, I went on a little bit of a wheater kick. So we picked up this Penelope wheated bourbon right here, which for the price is really good. It's not those sweet red fruits that we want on a Weller or the Ben Holiday wheaters. It's a different expression. It's really good for the price though. Also, this Screaming Titan wheated bourbon from Redwood Empire, actually really freaking solid. Redwood Empire does some fantastic stuff. Again, not red fruit wheated. I keep searching for those red fruit wheaters. They're few and far between, but my God, that's good. Like, it's not red fruit, but it's freaking delicious. Now this right here is not a wheater. This is the Redwood Empire High Rye Bourbon, but I liked that one so much that when I saw this one, I was like, let's just go ahead and try it. Devil's Tower is what they call this one, and this is the first time I've tried it. So we are going to do a live review right now. It's edited, but you know what I'm saying. For the last year, I've really been on a high rye bourbon kick, and I've found so many interesting high rye bourbons, and this seems to be another one on the nose. I don't even believe my own taste buds on that. I don't believe my own taste buds. I'm not even gonna say anything until I confirm that's different. The rye spice is really soft, really soft. You do get red fruit on this. It is very medicinal cough syrup, right? which may not be a note that everybody's gonna like. Like, it's just dark, deep red cherry cough syrup. I've never had a bourbon that is more red cough syrup forward, but I like it. That's not a bad thing for me. And I think it's the spiciness of the rye kind of gets you, gets your mouth tingling a little bit, kind of like a cough syrup might do. And then you get the red cherry coming through. So it's not just flavor, it's just that overall impact. So if I get a cough, that's what I'm drinking. Like, it's nice and soft and subtle and sophisticated. Like, I get a whole bunch of flavors. Like, it's rye spice up front, and then that deep kind of cherry in the mid palate, and then that softens up and the rye spice comes back. Honestly, might be my favorite thing by Redwood Empire I've had so far. Might be. We'll have to go back and try them all, but that might be my favorite from them. But you gotta like that kind of medicinal red cherry note. This is Planters Whiskey, Ozark Highlands. I think this is Nobleton's distillery. This is a single barrel. This is a blend. I have not yet tried the blend, so we are going to go with that. I enjoyed that single barrel, but I want to see what their like shelf product tastes like as well. We're talking to these folks about getting up there and filming a video. I think they're really interesting. Their story's really interesting. Okay, a little more dusty oak on this one. Not bad, just coming off of that Redwood Empire. This one's definitely going to be a little more on the craft side. Ooh, I really like it though. That dustiness is more on the nose than the palate. A lot of orange zest. And that orange zest, like up front, kind of turns into more like outright orange. This is their distillate. They make all of this. But this has a very similar flavor profile to some of the MGP stuff that I really like that has all of that orange zest on it. I think I like their blend better than that particular single barrel. I'm gonna have to try the single barrel though to find out. Yeah, a little harsher. The orange is there. It's almost like an orange creamsicle. The oak comes through. I feel like that one is better balanced. That oak adds just a little harshness to this particular single barrel. But I'm a big fan of this one right here, man. It's just like orange for days. I should have started with this one. That was surprising. All right, down that train, we got a bottle of New Louisville right here. This comes from New Lou, which is what New Lou stands for, is New Louisville. It's a district in Louisville. At some point, I assume back in the day, this is just complete speculation. You had Louisville, and somebody moved like 300 yards down, and they're like, this is New Louisville. This is the old people. We're the cool people. This is New Louisville. And so you get the New Lou district. If I'm wrong, you just put it in the comments or just keep it to yourself and let me live in my little fantasy world. This is mail whiskey. So this one showed up in the mail. 8-year-old straight bourbon whiskey from New Louisville. New Lou is an NDP, a non-distilling producer, as far as I know. We've discovered some fantastic things. Like, that is caramel and like powdered sugar. I need to get my glasses. I got to figure out, do they tell where this was distilled? Because that's exceptional. Nope. So what I've discovered on these is if you don't put the state of distillation on your bottle, that means that the address that is on the bottle should be the same state that it was distilled in. So it's Kentucky, but it doesn't give us any clues as to where in Kentucky this actually came from. It's just like caramel and powdered sugar. The finish drops off a little bit, but like that powdered sugar note oftentimes does that, right? It adds a sweetness, and then it's just that soft powdered sugar finish, which doesn't have a real strong linger. But I really love the flavors on this. So we've got some single barrel samples from them as well. And if it's single barrels of this, we're gonna have to get on that. But we've discovered so far, and we still got a ton of whiskey to go through, 3 really new, good, surprising bottles so far in this test. These are mail whiskey, just showed up in the mail. I don't really know much of the story of these Blackwoods, but this is a toasted 105. This one is a toasted 105 rye. I don't know if the 105 is a proof point on them. We'll find out here in just a second. These are in boxes, so you know they're fancy. And this one is toasted bourbon. Kentucky straight bourbon in a toasted barrel. Me and toasted barrels are we kind of have a rocky relationship. I like some of them, like the Elijah Craig toasted. I like it. It's still an occasion whiskey for me. I don't go back to it every day because it is so strongly flavored, but I like it. Short Barrel's 101 toast, fan of it. Some toast though, just too much oak, too much harshness, and so we'll see. This is a Blackwood single barrel. So now we have decisions to make on which of these we're trying. I mean, it is male whiskey. I guess we could just try them all. Let's start with a single barrel, which is probably what I would buy if I walked into a store and saw these. Smells like MGP, good MGP. Now it's a single barrel, right? So every barrel will be different. There is a dry harshness throughout it that takes away from it. But other than that, it's exceptional, right? Like there's a lot of really good things I love about it, but there's kind of a dry harshness. And I'll bet if I had a couple of sips, like if I was having a full pour, whatever that little harshness is on this particular single barrel would dissipate. It's got something. So I'm gonna try these because a single barrel, every one of them's gonna be different. But let's see if we can figure out where this one's distilled. And the reason I say it smells like MGP is it kind of has those kind of orange zest notes I was talking about earlier. And this is Kentucky Straight, not MGP, but it has those kind of nice orange peel notes that I like from some of the MGP whiskey. And I'm trying to point that out. I'm trying to say positive things about MGP whiskey because a lot of people think I hate it, when that's not the case at all. I just don't usually buy it because I have a bunch of those. This one on the nose has an oak undertone and it has a lot of that kind of orange zest on the nose. On the palate, some of that orange zest kind of dissipates into like a nice, soft, fruit-forward note. And yeah, see that harsh note completely gone. And now on the third sip, that is absolutely beautiful. Man, we've discovered some really good things on that. We gotta do this more often. Y'all let me know in the comments right now if y'all like these haul videos. Like the last one did pretty good. It's hard for me to keep up with them because we're bringing them in and filming and doing a bunch of different stuff. And so sometimes it's hard to like keep up with what did we get this month. So we're trying to do a better job to enable these, but only if y'all want them, right? And the cool thing is it gives me an opportunity to try a bunch of stuff I've never tried. So this is the Blackwood Toasted Bourbon. Not as orange peel forward. A little more clove note on this one. It's got more orange peel on the palate than on the nose. That's a really soft toast. Lots of clove. From my palate. I like it. I don't think I like it as much as just the single barrel though. But let's see what they did with a toasted rye. That's definitely a different experience there. Okay, that's better. When it comes to finished whiskeys, I tend to prefer ryes over bourbons just because the rye stands up to the finish. It doesn't take a back seat. A lot of bourbons can just be overwhelmed by a strong finish. This one, the toast is pretty heavy on that. Like it comes across really strong. You can smell it like it's a kind of a dry oakiness. A lot of clove on this one. And you get that. It is a nice soft rye spice, dissipates into a clove, and it has just been clove for days. I don't have a lot of tasting notes, but I've been working on clove because a lot of whiskeys have it. And this one, if you want to taste like what clove tastes like, if you're like, I wonder what he means by clove, this is your whiskey right here because it is just clove for days. And if you like clove, definitely going to be up your alley. Now, what's the difference in these guys here? This is 105. This one is not, okay? I'm assuming that's a 105 proof point, but we're gonna have to find out. Like the short barrel does the 101, which is 101 proof points. Yep, exactly what that means. Look at there. My power of deduction has me knowing things. Let's see if taking it down to 105 proof point versus what I assume is a cask strength version would make it any better. Yeah, it does. This is one of those instances where taking it down in proof gets rid of any of the harshness of the toasted. It's kind of like the short barrel toasted 101, right? Taking it down to 101 proof just makes it really, really complex and engaging and easily to approach. That's a really good toasted barrel. I actually like that better than this 108 proof. So for me, I actually really like all of these. This one, really interesting, very approachable, easy to get into. This one is gonna be clove for days. So if you like clove, you're gonna absolutely love that. This one's good, but really the standouts for me were the single barrel and these two, the 105 toasteds. So give those a try. Let me know if you've had any Blackwood, what you think about them. This is the last bottle on the bar, and then we get into floor whiskey down there, which there's still many, many bottles of that. This is Service to America's Salute War Dogs Edition. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, aged 5 years. 98.6 proof, I believe that says. Now this one is another male whiskey, I believe. I think that's where this one came in. And, you know, things that support veterans organizations. My dad was 82nd Airborne. My grandfathers were in the military, you know, served in World War II. My brothers have both been military. I'm probably the only one in the family that hasn't been military. We support veterans causes whenever we can. And so we did the 5th Squadron thing we did down in New Iberia, Louisiana, in the New Orleans area. And so there's a lot of like veteran-owned, veteran-themed whiskeys, and we really want to support them, but the whiskey's got to hold up. We're not going to relax our own values of what we're trying to do and recommend something that doesn't hold up to what we think the threshold of a great whiskey is. That actually smells kind of nutty. Almost has like a little bit of a Jim Beam profile on the nose. That has a lot of good things going on. It seems a little familiar though, and I'm trying to figure out where to place this. I mean, it's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's 5 years old. It has a lot of sweetness on the palate. Like it is orange. It's a different kind of orange though. It's not like the ones we were talking about. Like this is familiar. I've had this whiskey. Like I don't know where they've sourced it from, but it's a pretty good bottle. So some of the ones we've had have been very intense, like, oh my God, these are great. Like we've discovered a few really great bottles that I can't wait to let them open up and go back to. This is a really good bottle. Tastes very much like some of the Green River distillate we've had. I don't know if it's where it's coming from, but that's my closest comparison, right? Just a little soft kind of oaky nuttiness on it, and then just like soft kind of orange flavors, orange caramel flavors all the way through. Really nice bottle of whiskey. I don't know what the price point on it is though, being, you know, probably my assumption is sourced from somewhere in Kentucky. But if you find one of these and it's affordable to you, it's a pretty good sipper. Just realized we actually had another Service to America salute. The Battle of Iwo Jima straight bourbon whiskey. This one does not say Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is produced and bottled by them in Washington, so I don't know if it came from Washington. Don't know. Like you're supposed to put the state of distillation on these things. And so I assume, and again, the rules are, if it doesn't say the state, the address on the label is supposed to be the state. So not sure whose whiskey this is we're trying, but we're gonna try it. So I like to coat the Glen a little bit. If you wonder why I swirl it, I'm trying to coat that Glen just to get a little more robust aroma and flavor out of it. This is definitely a different experience than the last one. That last one was like bright and fruit forward. This one is a little more dark, a little more oaky, a little more of those clove notes that I was talking about. And more of that, more barrel char, raisin, dark fruit, like a completely different expression than the last one. I like these. I like these kind of raisin forward bourbons. A lot of small distilleries that are producing their own get these notes, whether it's small barrels or big barrels in high heat, or the way they're distilling, pot distilled or something. You get these kind of dark red fruit, raisiny notes. I tend to like them, but I like them as an occasion. I come back to them every once in a while. And we've got some barrel picks we're working on of this profile of whiskey. I like it, but that flavor profile is not gonna be for everybody. Like the other one we tried is much more like mainstream Kentucky style bourbon. This is a little more like occasion. You've got to kind of be into those. I would probably share the other one more than this one though. Time to pick up the pace a little bit. We've got this High West Cask Collection, a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys finished in Barbados rum barrels. And we got a short barrel Bee's Knees 4. I think I picked both of these up while bourbon hunting. This one came from South Florida. I think maybe the same on this one here as well. I have a lot of these bottles here, of not of Bee's Knees 4, but of short barrel Bee's Knees. We've done a couple of picks now for the club, and so probably gonna put that one into our whiskey giveaway. Really good bottle, but no sense in me trying it. Like we've done so much honey finished whiskey, but I'm starting to get a little more into rum, so I wanna try more whiskeys finished in rum, and I wanna find more rum finished in whiskey barrels. Oh my God, that smells delicious. That's good. It's soft, it's subtle, it's, you know, it's not in your face like I tend to like a lot of whiskeys, but I'm finding more and more and more from High West that I like. They've got one of the nicest looking bottles. It's hand-blown glass. I'm not a huge fan of Midwinter Night's Dram, and that's really what this distillery got put on the map doing. That's what everybody was hunting for when I first started, and it's a bunch of blend of port finish, rye, and different things. I'm just not a huge fan of it. But I'm finding more and more stuff that they're putting out that I am a fan of, and this rum finish is soft, subtle, sophisticated, all the things I'm not, right? I am not, maybe soft. Not subtle and sophisticated. I'm not subtle and sophisticated. So good bottle right there from High West. And I'm sure this is gonna be a good bottle as well. I'm not gonna open it because we're gonna put it into our giveaway. Next, Milam and Green. I bought this Milam and Green down in South Florida. We were just bourbon hunting in the Fort Lauderdale area, I believe it was, when we picked this one up. This bottle actually got me access to the Stag Junior at MSRP. So whether it's good or not, it got me access to a Stag Junior, and that's always helpful. We did try this there, and I remember it being pretty good. I had some stuff from them early before we started the channel. Somebody gave me, it was a Ben Milam. We spend a lot of time in the Austin, Texas area. Somebody gave me a Ben Milam at the time for my palate, which has really developed a lot in the last few years. It was sweet, it was interesting, it was good, but like it was over the top sweet. Now this Milam and Green stuff, it smells nice. It's just not super complicated or sophisticated. That's a fine whiskey. I'm sure that would be good for a cocktail. So this is a single barrel at 94 proof, which doesn't give it a lot of opportunity to shine at that proof point for me. Like there's some interesting things going on. This one's just a little too soft and subtle. And it won apparently some sort of gold or something. It's got a neck tag telling me that it got a 93 and something. Pretty good, but I've got to try some higher proof stuff from them. Like I want a little more impact on the whiskey. If you're gonna be drinking it neat, this is gonna be fantastic for a cocktail mixer. Not something I'm gonna go back to or share with a whole bunch of folks, right? It doesn't stand out, it doesn't have that impact at that lower proof point. This one should have been shown earlier. This is another one of those, your wife likes the bottle shape, you end up buying it. 6th Street Bourbon, 6 years old. I mean, that's good. It is distilled in Indiana, which we all know means MGP, but it's 6-year-old MGP. So that's already kind of a differentiator, right? It's a little older than a lot of folks were using back kind of pandemic, post-pandemic. Again, I like MGP whiskey. I just don't usually buy it unless there's a reason, unless somebody tells me somebody did something really fancy with it. They did something fancy, they put it in a fancy bottle with a nice cork. A little different note on that. Like a little more like earthiness, minerality. I'm trying to decide if I like that. Like there's a lot of good going on and there's some quirkiness, some oddities, and I'm trying to decide, do I like am I embracing the quirky and oddities or am I turned off by them? I don't really know which way to go on that first sip. There's like that soft powdered sugar note. It's almost doughy instead of like just sweet. And so what we had earlier that had like orange and powdered sugar, really good. This has a lot of that as well. Like I almost need a second pour. I think once this opens up, it's probably going to get better. And it's not bad. This is not a bad whiskey. I just don't know if I love it, or if it's just good whiskey, right? Yeah, see, the more I try it, the more your palate sensitizes to the little oak. It's a little more powdered sugar orange. I get a lot of that kind of powdered sugar orange on some of the MGP stuff. That's why I said that earlier. If I get that kind of orange zest note, I usually think it's MGP. Like I like this. I don't love it. It was $54. There's a price tag on the back here, so I assume that's what I paid for it. At $54, I don't hate it, but it just has a little note there that comes across a little like doughy, and I'm not a huge fan of that most of the time. So overall, much better than I thought for a fancy bottled whiskey. Much better than I thought it was gonna be. But it doesn't meet that threshold for me to just share this with people. All right, let's get through a couple of bottles here. We're probably not gonna try on this video. This one right here is an Ezra Brooks cask strength store pick. It's got a fancy tater sticker I can barely even see. I'm sure y'all can barely see it on camera as well. I tend to like these Ezra Brooks cask strengths. They're good whiskey. They just don't have anything like super weird or interesting going on. They're just good whiskey. And so we use them a lot as mixers around here. If we don't have a Jack and Coke, like if we run out of Jack Daniels, we're gonna go start mixing these things. They're really good, I like them, but they're usually not distinctive or interesting enough. So this one will end up in a blind. against the other Ezra cask strengths I have, loser gets dumped into the infinity barrel. Right here is a Michter's barrel strength rye, one of my favorite ryes. Big fan of the Michter's brand. This one though is the 2016 Michter's, like before whiskey started blowing up and they got really hard to get. So we picked this one up at a liquor store off camera. It's not in a hunt. You see this is like, I was like, I don't care, we're opening this thing anyway. I don't care if that's like torn off, but this is the 2016 Michter's barrel strength rye. Looking forward to opening that sometime, sharing that with folks. All right, next is Barrel House Select. So we were in Bowling Green, Kentucky, did a bourbon hunt. That video's probably not out by the time this video goes out. He let me try this one, if I recall, and it was pretty good. Now the problem is like liquor store pretty good, and you've had 20 or 30 pours pretty good, whole different thing. And it holds up. That's pretty good. Like it's a little bit of kind of a greenness to it, like a little bit of like youthfulness, even though I wouldn't call it youthful. There's still, I think this blend, these barrels would be better if they had another couple of years on them, but it is kind of that soft, sweetie, more caramel forward, sweetie, nice whiskey. But what we're looking for here is something unique and distinct and different. And that's again why I pass on, if I've got something similar to it, like an MGP, I'll pass on it until somebody tells me that it's distinct or interesting, because this is really good whiskey. Like I like that. That's probably better half of what we've tried so far, but it's not that like 5% that really stood out and is unique and interesting for any particular way. Next is Hoot & Young. Petite Syrah finished, 6 years old. I don't know about this one, I really don't. Don't know what to expect. I believe this was picked up on a bourbon hunt. That was a very wet cork pop right there. The bottle was in a box. There's no way it was upside down, but like that cork was super damp. And I don't drink a ton of wine. If I do, it's not anything unusual. So I don't know a whole lot about Syrah, but like that almost smells like a cognac finish. So I'm assuming a Syrah is kind of a light sweet wine. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's not robust or over the top or crazy, but that wine finish comes through really interesting, adds a lot of sweetness. It almost tastes like a cognac finish to me. Like it just adds a lot of sweetness to it. Yeah, if you'd have handed me that, I would bet you money that's a cognac finish. This would be really interesting in a cigar blend, like a Syrah cask finished in a cigar blend. Adds a lot of sweetness, very similar to that cognac finish. It's not overly robust or complex, which is really hard to do in a finished whiskey, especially a finished bourbon, because like I said, the bourbon kind of sometimes takes a back seat to the finish. Overall though, really nice bottle. I'm not like running out and grabbing one, but if you've got one in your collection or your selection, or you end up coming across one at a reasonable price, again, don't recall exactly what this cost, but it's good. Casey Jones, single barrel bourbon whiskey at 114 proof. Now we've seen some Casey Jones, and I've made the joke that I wouldn't buy whiskey from a Ninja Turtles character. I'm of that generation. Like, give me a freaking break, okay? We had the Ninja Turtles. I went to see the Ninja Turtles, I think the original movie, in the theaters in Columbus, Fort Benning. Like, that's the generation I'm from. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was a baseball reference. Apparently this is a family legacy thing. So I would like to apologize to the Jones family, but we found this guy here in Bowling Green, Kentucky in a little crazy store. I thought I'd grab it. It's the most interesting thing that store had, other than they did have some Dusties that I didn't want to overpay for. That's good distillate. It's a little crafty, like it's not quite like mainstream Kentucky. There's a little more interesting things going on. Now I like mainstream Kentucky distillate, but I find myself drawn to more of these like weird, kind of unusual, crafty notes. And this is not too unusual. It's not too far off the like mainstream beaten path. Touch of orange zest, caramel forward, dissipates into like a nice sweet finish. Not the most complex thing we've had, but like if this is their own distillate, distilled in Kentucky, aged and bottled. So it sounds like it might have been contract distilled for them. Interesting, different, a little bit on the unique side. I probably wouldn't buy a second bottle of this because we're not going to finish this one, but interesting enough for me to dive deeper and try to find more stuff from them, because I think they may have something that meets my criteria of unique and distinct. And this is a single barrel, so this is probably gonna be a little different than the next barrel you would try, but good enough to meet the threshold of let's go find some more stuff from them. So good job, Casey Jones. We'll find some more stuff from you for sure. Next is not a bottle of bourbon. Woodinville sent us a picture book of sorts. Like it's like pictures and details and, oh, there's a letter. Didn't know there was a letter. It was stuck in the book, but we've got photos and all sorts of weird things. I'm not gonna read all of this, but I'll read the note and then I'll flip through the photos. Thank you, Woodinville, for that. This is a cognac from Sazerac. So this is Sazerac Day Forge cognac I bought in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now this cost me like $120 or something stupid like that. And I don't even drink cognac, so who knows if this is gonna be good. We've been doing a lot of like cognac finishes. We've been working on learning. I wanna do a cigar blend. Now we're gonna do it as a winter's blend. We're gonna release it Q4, probably next year. And so I've been trying a lot of cognac stuff, trying a lot of cognac finish stuff, cigar blends. We've got some videos we're planning around cigar blends or cognac finishes. It's got wire. Like, is cognac explosive? Is this gonna like pop the cork off with some sort of velocity? Is it like a champagne? I don't know. It's a very fancy bottle with a moderately fancy cork. And I haven't drinking a lot of just like straight cognac. So looking forward to this one. We did buy a single barrel of Armagnac for the club though. So I'm getting into those a little bit. There's some things I like, some things I don't like on that nose. Like there's some sweetness, some fruitiness, but there's also like that note I was talking about earlier that like comes from pot stilled single malts that I don't like. And I don't know how to define that and explain that to you. And it's that on the palate. Like if you would have just gave me that, I would say that's a single malt scotch. It has that flavor profile. And if somebody, please, like y'all tell me, if you've had a lot of cognacs, and I get this, Hennessy, a lot of these different cognacs, I get that same flavor that I do not like about scotches or a lot of Irish whiskeys. Irish whiskeys are usually a little lighter, so sometimes that can dissipate. But I get that same flavor that I don't like, and I hope I get used to. I hope my palate evolves to where I can try it so I can get into more scotches and things. But for now, it's got a lot of things I like. I get some of that like grape forward sweetness, like it's just really nice. And then I get all of that like harshness that I get on a scotch or an Irish whiskey or most cognacs. And I don't know what causes that flavor and I don't know how to describe it to you, but not a fan of it. First of all, let's do a Glen count so we can talk about how many pours we actually enjoyed here today. 1, 2, 25 pours, not that bad. So we tried about half of them, which is probably too many for a video like this, honestly. But hopefully you enjoyed this. I appreciate you watching. Definitely let me know in the comments if you like these types of videos, if you like us trying all of the stuff that comes in. As this grows, we will not be able to continue to do every single bottle that comes in. 25 was too many. I really thought going into this video, we would try 12, 15. That probably would have been okay. It's small pours. It's not like we had full pours. I mean, you can see how much we left of the ones we poured heavy. Overall, pretty good. We found a few things that we absolutely love in the mail whiskey. Most of the stuff that just showed up in the mail, a couple of things that we picked up on the hunt. So appreciate you watching all the way to the end. We'll see you in the next one.